everybody. My name is Jennifer Cheney, and I want to tell you about my little black cat. Now, this little girl, sweet little thing, came home one night in the pocket of my son Jesse's jacket when he got off work. He was just getting off his graveyard shift, and he was heading out to the parking lot, and a guy came up to him and said, Dude, would you hold my cat? And so Jesse reached out, and he took the kitten, and the guy jumped in his truck and took off out of the parking lot as fast as he could go. And Jesse said, Buddy, hey, you forgot your cat. And the guy rolled down his window as he was driving off and said, Your problem now, dude. Well, he didn't want to leave the cat out there in the middle of the night, so he put her in his pocket and he brought her home. And oh, she was a sweet little thing, a little black fluff ball. And she had a coffee cream colored stain down her front chin, and so we named her Dribble. Dribble fit in with our family right away. And she lost no time in staking out her very favorite spot in our house, which was on the front porch right next to the door. Now, we very quickly realized how natural a hunter Dribble is. She lost no time in going out and catching mice and moles, and every morning my husband Mike or I would walk out and there would be a little present for us on the front porch. And usually when she would go bring a nice big fat mole, we'd slip her a can of tuna to kind of encourage that, because our yard was toast by this time. But Dribbles, as she kind of honed her skills, she would go after bigger things like squirrels and rabbits and birds. One time I actually stood and watched her, and she leapt straight up, about 5 feet in the air, and caught a bird straight out of the air as it was taking off. I thought, wow, this cat's good. Well, one time we came home from work, and there was something funny on our front porch. It was a fish skeleton. Now, we're not talking a goldfish. This was a small trout. Now, we live on a hill at the bottom of Columbia Heights, and there's no streams or brooks around, so we had no idea where in the world this cat would have gotten a fish. So we threw it away, and a couple days later we come home, and there's a bigger fish. And we disposed of that, and by the end of the week, there was a bigger fish. We were really puzzled over this, and my husband Mike said, Wait a minute. The house up the hill and around the corner has a koi pond in their backyard. And we realized where these fish were coming from, and we were real glad that we disposed of the evidence on that one. But Dribble started, as she was growing, she was getting a little more fierce, and a couple of times we found dead possums kind of laying scattered around the yard. And one time we were out sitting on our front porch, and we heard some commotion, and we looked around, and there was a raccoon that came tearing around the corner of the house, just running pell-mell across the yard, bleeding profusely, just beat to rats. And it took off like something was chasing it, and we looked around, and here comes Dribble padding around the house, just kind of licking her paws. Well, we were a little surprised when later that week we came home, and there was a deer carcass on our front lawn. And that took Mike and Jesse and I all three to be able to lift it and get rid of it. And for those of you that live in the area, you know that there's a small herd of elk that kind of traverses around Columbia Heights, and they usually would spend quite a bit of time in our backyard. We didn't see a single elk this year. Not a single one. And speaking of not seeing anything, about this same time, there's a house across the street from ours that's vacant, and so we kind of get some shady looking characters that show up, and we were having a problem with prowlers in our neighborhood. So what we started doing is leaving the garage door up a little bit at night so the cat could come and go, and our prowler problem has disappeared. Although a couple of times, I do have to tell you, we found what looked like skinned sausage links laying in the front yard. And on closer inspection, they looked a lot like, well, you get the picture. We threw them away. So what's really got us concerned right now, though, is that we haven't heard from our son in a couple weeks. The last time he was over visiting, he's on his way up to get in his car, he stopped and pet the cat in the driveway, and we haven't seen him since. So if any of you know Jesse, please tell him to call his parents. We really would like to touch base with him. We need to let him know, most of all, that we've decided to put our house on the market. We're going to move, and so if anybody's interested, please come up and see it. We're at the bottom of Columbia Heights. It's a 2-story tan house with tan shutters and a red door and a little black cat that sits on the front porch. Oh, and by the way, the cat comes with the house. Thanks.